Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Unveiled Voices.
Why
How
are
are
you
you?
taking
How are
a
you?
very low tone?
How are you? How are you first?
Give me energy, give me energy.
That I brought energy into it.
No, your voice sounds like,
Ah,
hello everyone, welcome back
yeah,
to.
like welcome back. How long is no so we've been on track in terms of the bi-weekly episode releases. So
In terms of what?
the
Bi-weekly.
bi-weekly episode releases. So even though today was Hmm, let's see how it goes in terms of recording. But happy to be here. Yep.
As usual,
Yeah.
grateful to be here.
Grateful to be here. How are you, Anifah? How has your days been or your weeks been?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Excuse me. Well, I don't know where that came from. I don't have water right here. Alhamdulillah, it's been a good few last weeks. Yesterday was highlight for me. Like you were here,
Oh yeah.
two other friends of mine were here, and it was like, oh, that feeling of community.
Mm-hmm.
And today again, we're going to be like at an
Party.
outing where there are going to be about 14 women.
Yep.
So I'm just looking forward to catching up. People I've not seen in weeks. What else? The food, because
Ah
the host
yeah.
was is already serenading us with like
You
images
know
of
what
what
to
we'll be
expect.
eating. I'm like, yes, let's go, let's go. Apart from that, it's been a crazy few weeks. I guess in terms of like TFL. I'm here again complaining about TFL. Though I have managed to like escape the most of it. I see people talking about train delayed, this,
Train
that, and I'm
filled
like,
to the brim.
and I have a theory. I think what is happening is a lot of offices are mandating like return to work. More people are going in peak hours. It's just crazy. Honestly, I think the return to work thing, we need to talk about it as a kind of separate topic and how it affects us because the pandemic basically introduced us to a lifestyle like it's looking like we can't maintain. But alhamdulillah, regardless, solid last few days. Um, seeing my star, seeing my you guys, and just chilling. What about you?
Yeah, so maybe picking up from the TFL train ish. So same right. Even though the last few weeks I feel I've gone rogue, and me going rogue is
What
kind
does
of
what does going rogue mean in
like
this case?
not going to the office. Like me,
Wow.
the
I
usual
used
me.
to call your employer and snitch and be like,
No, but
yo, this
I
girl is
mean,
not coming into the
so
office.
like you mentioned the return to the office. So my employer is now mandating that from next year we have to be in the office 5 days a week, which I still don't know how that that would turn out for me because for the most of my career I've not had that 5 days a week. Like
Listen, that,
then
that gives you an inkling, the
yeah,
listener, an inkling of how young someone here is. Because if you didn't taste like the full 5 days in office thing,
yeah.
yeah,
So
you're purely
now
Gen Z.
so now off the top of my head I'm like, you mean I actually have to wake up every single
You
day?
mean our parents dealt with this? What do
Yeah,
you mean going to office five days?
exactly. So I don't know how to survive yet, but I mean, I've got bills to pay, so I need.
You are a what do
I,
you call it again? I don't even know the best way to describe it. You have
so
to do that.
yeah. I think what I've just kind of been telling myself in preparation for Jan is, may Allah make it easy for me,
I
and
mean,
maybe
so is it like January, like once you
from
come back from the
January 1st, like literally go like
wow.
January
What a
first.
way to start the new year.
Yeah, like
In a way, it's like, yeah, you're going out, but the other hand is like, whoa, it's a.
yeah, like so I
And
don't
it
know.
feels like it's most people that live in London or, on outskirts of
Mhm.
London anyway, they walk mostly towards the center and it's just a lot like commuting in, to be very honest. And, as you said, my last renting us for
Yeah.
the alternative would be to try to get a place like closer to the center. And I was talking to, one of my friends, was it recently, and she was literally telling me that the jump in cost from when they first moved to the apartment closer to central
Yeah.
and now it's like massive. And I'm like, how much are people earning that you can
Yeah.
justify that?
Yeah.
And then again, transport is very costly in comparison to like other European countries.
Mhm.
So it's like it's a trade-off. And then there's also the thing of, oh, but you can drive. In comparison to Nigeria, it's very different. You're not
Yeah.
guaranteed like a parking space where you work,
Mhm.
in most places at least. So it's like, okay, if you drive, where do you park your car? Also
The extra
driving.
cost of even getting a car
Yeah, so you
is
literally have to use the
the
public
public
transport, and
transport.
it's
Yeah.
just, yeah, it's, may Allah make it easy for us.
I mean, so I've just aired my mind to maybe this would be me actualizing my fit farm goals and stuff because I will definitely be up and
Yeah,
going like
you
work.
could be fit, yeah.
So
You don't even need the
yeah,
gym.
I mean in the gym. So, but we'd see. I mean, people. So it's a company-wide policy. So not just European countries, all over like the world where the company has footprint. But some countries are starting to push back. So I'm just waiting for UK.
Some
So
countries are
yeah, yeah, yeah.
putting.
So like countries where they have like strong labor union, like you have to justify to the government why you want people to come in five
I
days a
think this
week.
is interesting because I'm of two minds with this. I think we're in a state generally in the economy where things have kind of flipped and it's not more like an employee market.
Mhm.
So sometimes it does feel like the whole return to office mandates is a kind of way for people, like for them to get
To
people,
get rid of people. Mhm.
yeah, without doing layoffs and all.
Mhm.
So it's like, do we really have the bargaining chip as like
Yeah,
employees right now? But it's also like, well, no, it won't hurt to try your luck as like a union. If
yeah.
it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we suck it up and do what capitalism
Yeah,
does.
yeah, like I said, I have bills to pay, so it is what
Which
it is.
means that you pay.
Bro, I need money, like money. May Allah
Now that make it easy.
us.
Honestly, the way things just change, like generally in the world, I'm starting to think more and more about like, okay, how do I remove myself from the system? Not that I won't participate on
Mhm.
or things like that, but on your own terms. And the only way you can participate, to be honest, on your own terms is if you have like a business, like or a solid idea of something in which you provide value,
Yeah.
for so guys, like let's put our thinking cap on, and it won't be bad if,
the
yeah, you get what I mean.
next unicorn comes out from
You know the next unicorn.
yeah. So other than that, definitely looking forward to the hangout we have later today. It's always wonderful to like hang out with the ladies and
Mhm.
have all of this
You
conversation.
know what? Like, there's been a shift in when we meet, like
Mm-hmm.
recently.
Mm.
We're not just coming to,
Yep.
rant or gist
Yeah.
or, for lack of a better word, gossip. And, may that make it easy for us. You guys know what gossip and backbiting is. I don't need to tell you, it's
Mm-hmm.
not ideal, as Muslims. So there's been that shift from just meeting without like random meetings where you just to,
Mm-hmm.
actually, what are we talking about when we,
Yeah.
and we've talked about this on the podcast before, but to see that shift happen also in real time in our
Mm-hmm.
gatherings where we're being more deliberate, catching up with each other, saying, okay, how actually am I connecting with this person
Yeah.
outside of even some of the group hangouts? Because it's quite difficult to, get people, 14 people, 15 people all in one room. So some people will not be able to make it. So how we being deliberate about like being there for each other. It's not just being one sided, the responsibilities are being shifted around, and how we connecting to God as well, all those things. So I like the evolution, and I'm like curious as to, okay, what does the next 1 2 year, look like for us? But yeah, very.
Yeah, it's all good. So on one of the previous episodes, we had this if I could or if you could episode where we talked about like if we could do blah 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 blah, what would you do? So bringing I can't remember what my answer was in that episode because that's been a long time. But bringing that question back again and throwing the question to you, Anifa, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would that be?
Where
And
did I say the last time?
what I said, I can't even remember what I said.
I I think I said I wanted to live like short term in New York, like maybe
Oh yeah,
2 weeks,
no, no, no.
1 month.
That was if you could leave. This one is if you could travel anywhere.
Did I say I feel like I must have said like somewhere in Asia, like
Ah, yeah, we said
maybe
Thailand,
Japan.
Japan, Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thailand is also like I was
Yeah.
talking to someone recently and she was like, yeah, you should go to Thailand. You
Oh,
can
okay,
fly
yeah. So I
from
remember my answer. My answer was
really
like,
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
Asia country.
Yeah, so definitely Asia. I've never been, so it's like you hear good stuff about the food, you hear good stuff about the people. Um, yeah, some of their movies and the likes, they
Yeah.
also look really, so like, okay, what does this culture look like? What what does relaxation look like there? Because there's also this thing where I've seen some TikTok videos where people are actually like going for in-depth skin consultation. Like
Mm.
I'm a very lazy skincare person, but it's one of my dreams to be able to like pay attention to my skin eventually on a like serious level. Um, and just invest because I think it's worth it, especially if you're not really the type that puts on like makeup,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things. It's like, what else are you investing in? Looking good is your skin, so they have all of this like really amazing serums, like consultation for like checking your skin age, what you should be doing. And I've also seen one where they're like, okay, based on your skin tone, what kind of jewelry do you wear? It would suit you the best, and what kind of colors would suit you the best. I'm like, wow, there's so like there's
Yeah.
indeed some like science to this. I'm like, okay, it will be nice to explore that. And most of those regions, it has rich history. I mean, everywhere in the world has very rich history, but also understanding the evolution of like, okay,
Yeah.
how did these countries come to be? So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
go
So
to it.
Unveiled Voices, Sisters, Thailand, hashtag Warrior.
Hashtag, you know what? I feel like 2025 is going to be a good year. So
Yeah.
tentatively, far, Asia is far from where we are, but so we have to like
Plan.
plan and get like
Let's do.
for your buck. You get
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. So, my
Okay.
life
So
was beyond then.
I
Yeah.
mean, so like on the topic of travel, which is what we want to discuss today on
Mhm.
Muslim travels. Um, so maybe let's start with what has been your major travel highlight so far? Like which country or city or place have you traveled to, and that was like a major travel highlight for you?
You know what? There was like a trip to Morocco, which I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why it was an highlight for me. First of all, it was with my husband, and we really needed to go away at that point in time in 2022, I believe, like
No,
2023.
no. It's
2022 or
years.
I think it was 23.
Yeah.
Well, it
Because
feels
we
like
went.
longer. Yeah, it's 23 because it was post us going on for
Mhm.
our walima. But yeah, it was very nice because we had been working so hard, like at the time, and it was just a way to just go and relax. And Morocco is not too far from the UK because I believe it borders Spain in some way.
Yeah, so yeah, it's
Not
like
too
two
far.
hours, 3 hours.
And it's also quote unquote like a Muslim country, or lots of people that live there
Mm-hmm.
are Muslim. So I wasn't worried from a perspective of, you know, if I get there, like, is this place welcoming? And
Mm-hmm.
a very touristy place. Lots of people go to Morocco, Marrakesh
Yeah.
particularly, and Agadir. Like they have like hot spots, and
Did
so
you
it's
go to Agadir when you went?
no, but
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I think
I
you did.
think Agadir has a lot of resorts, and if I want
Mhm.
to do like
Yeah,
a lot of
maybe we
relaxation,
should. That's
yeah,
all.
relaxation. I don't want to do walk up and down.
Yeah, just
I mean,
kind of
Waka is
shit.
like touring on the road. So I like that because there was that comfort level in knowing that, most food here is halal food.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to even ask.
Maybe don't go into that yet because that's going to be
I'm just
like
doing surface level.
yeah.
We did a lot of exploration. So we landed in Marrakesh, did a 3-day multi-city tour. Went to Rabat, Casablanca, Chef Sharon, which is the blue city. I still have some like iconic pictures
Yeah.
I took there, with my husband. And it's like it was stressful, those like multi-city tours, but we really interacted because we were doing walking tours. We went to Fez. Fez was
Yeah, first was good.
so
Yeah.
it was like 3 days full of like walking, actually talking to the locals,
Mhm.
understanding even how they make money. Because in Fez they like have this really amazing leather,
Yeah.
uh, production facility, and it was just amazing being feeling like we're talking to the
Yeah.
locals. They're used to tourists,
Mhm.
not having to worry about a lot of stuff, and yeah, it was because the way we planned it after doing the multi-city tour, we had like some
Days
like
like wind
days
down
that
periods.
was just mostly
Mhm.
relaxing in
Yeah.
Casablanca. Then we decided, oh, back to Marrakesh, we'll actually take the train. So I guess the highlight for me was it came at a time where we needed to rest to
Mhm.
touch. It came at a time where um it was in a place where being Muslim was just like everyone else.
Mhm.
Though there are some differences which we'll still come to,
Yeah.
which was really good. Felt connected to like the city. The walking tours really, they'll tell you the history of this is why this, and that connection is
Yeah.
there. Yeah, having a local population that's just welcoming too was really nice. What about yourself?
So yeah, so Morocco definitely is a major travel highlight for me because I think we went before you guys did. So
Yeah,
we did the multi-city.
we did it first.
We did it before you.
No, I'm saying it like you, like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
did
like
it first.
I did. So yeah, we did the multi-city one, and it was quite interesting because maybe a bit of like zooming back
Background.
to Nigeria. Like when I was young, I always wanted to like travel, even do interstate travel and all of
In
that.
Nigeria,
But exactly, but that was not possible because of all of
why not?
your security concerns. You can't,
Ooh,
yeah, like
what about people traveling every day?
no, no, no. I mean, like, I can't wake up in Lagos and say I want to do a road trip all the way up north. Like, that's like borderline scary. So it wasn't possible. But coming back to when we did the Morocco trip, so we landed at Marrakesh. Then we did like multi-city
Mhm.
trip where we went to, I think we went to Casablanca first. We had a pit stop. We went to the mosque there. Then we went from Casablanca, we went to Fes. Like, it was just interesting. Like, even the road trip, the scenery, like how smooth the roads were, like how smooth
Uh,
the journey
I
was.
sorry to cut you short. I remember like on the roads when we're going because
Mhm.
my husband does like to like go around travel
Yeah,
and all, and he was just looking at the roads and it was like, babe, like a
this
lot of these
is
places, like
yeah.
if we just have good roads like this in
Mhm.
Nigeria, it will be so fun to see. Because he was telling me that there are like really amazing
Yeah,
places in Nigeria
yeah,
where like it's just that it's so hard to get
to
there. And
get
I
to.
know your point about security as well.
Yeah,
Like I'm not about to go on a road trip where God forbid,
yeah. Get kidnapped or
something happen
something.
and they're
Mhm.
like asking for a huge amount of ransom.
Yeah,
Where will people even get that? So
yeah.
it's like, people now tend to just stay in their little corner of the world. And it's not even surprising that someone will be like almost 40 years of age and
And
they've
they
not even
haven't been
seen
to.
other parts of
Yeah,
the country.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy. Anyway, sorry to cut you short,
No,
but
so yeah, that was like a major highlight of that trip. So, and to your point on, there wasn't much worry in terms of the environment and the climate because it was, at least there was that Muslim country in common, so it wasn't a lot of hassle and all of that. I think another major trip I like would be the Umrah trip we went for in December. That was very
yeah.
interesting as well because we
Why
went as
why
a
did you
group.
like that?
So
Wait.
yeah, so that was my first time going for Umrah. Apart from like the personal connection and the personal like takeaway I had from it, so it was also interesting because we went as a group. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're like about 10. Because I was like, how many
10.
families?
Oh wow. Actually, I
Yeah,
don't remember being up to 10.
me, yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, 10. But
yeah, like 10. Yeah, yeah.
anyway.
So, but it was really interesting because it showed like I really love those kind of group trips. Like when you have like things in common, I feel okay, yeah, let's go. I think it just started as a maybe corridor conversation of saying, "Oh, I'm planning to go in December for Umrah," and then this person said, "Oh, I also want to go," and this person said, "I also want to go," and then we ended up all going together. And it
Mhm.
was very interesting. We stayed in the same hotels. Like we have memories for days from that trip. So yeah,
Memories,
have
yeah.
ideas from that trip. So yeah, that was really good. I think a non-Muslim city I liked for me would be when I traveled to Tbilisi, in Georgia. Um, that was my first, say, girls trip ish with my friends, non-Muslim friends, and the city was definitely a non-Muslim
And
city.
you felt it, eh?
Hey, yeah, definitely. Like me, we had like the double-edged sword of me. I was black and Muslim, so and that country was,
But you're the only like
yeah, yeah. My
the
friends were
other
black,
people
but
that
yeah,
are
but I was black and Muslim, and this
yeah.
country is predominantly Catholic. So
Whoa, I'm
that,
sure they haven't seen a lot of
exactly,
this is
exactly,
why we need to go to more places. So
yeah.
just to bench this a bit, and I want us to go down memory because you said something around how, oh, you love to travel like
Hmm.
Nigeria, but it didn't have like when I was growing up, the concept of a holiday or vacation was literally you're going to your auntie's house
Yeah,
during the
long
long
holiday,
holiday
total
and then
holiday.
you come back home. When I first started working here, and one of the grads like me was like, "Oh, I'm going to Malta." It's like,
You're like
okay, Malta. And it's like, oh, what's like? Even if you take time off, it's like, I just want to rest
the
now.
rest, yeah.
So interesting, like this idea of like going to Oli, going like taking a break, even traveling outside of where you live or wherever, and deliberately exploring other cultures,
Yeah.
other environments. It was really alien to me, and I, Alhamdulillah, now like that mindset has shifted.
Hmm.
May Allah make it easy for us
I
and
mean,
um make us see like more of his creation, more of the wonders because
yeah.
there are a lot of wonders in this world.
So
And
yeah, I was going
honestly,
to end the Tbilisi bit with why it was a major highlight for me because
mm,
obviously it was not like, so I had to like very careful about what I was eating because
yeah,
but the major highlights of that trip for me were the scenery I saw.
mm.
One, that was my first time seeing snow. So we deliberately
Oh
up
yeah,
north in that country because we wanted to see snow. We literally went from Dubai. I think it was maybe 20 something degree at the time. We went to that country where it was peak winter, and we went really up north. In fact, we went to the border of Russia because the country borders Russia. So we went to Gudari,
mm.
and Kazbegi. So that was like really, really, really cool. So that was me and my friends. That was our first time
Highlight.
seeing snow, and I remember like it was so exciting. We did the snow fight thing. Like we were just so excited to this.
Whoa, it's not
Yeah,
no. Yeah, I
yeah.
always see some tweets and I can't remember the wording. People would say, maybe someone post an amazing photo of like
Oh
one
yeah,
part
I'm
of
going to say God
say, God,
stay in the
God,
background.
I live without going living
Yeah,
Yanopaja or they
I
will
remember
send that
Abega.
tweet.
The first one I saw was Abega, and Abega
I
like
can
this.
find that tweet so we can share it on there. So
Yeah,
it sounds like bands, but
when you see it, like, so to just complete my thought, yeah, we saw the snow. Then when we also did some sort of road trip
I
on that
love it.
trip
Yeah.
because we went to different cities and seeing the scenery, like seeing the blue sky, seeing blue waters, like seeing
It's
greenery.
calming.
Even yeah.
I yeah, I need to mention another trip. So we went to there was a girls trip to Montenegro
Mhm.
last year too. Anyway, sometime it was
Mhm.
last year because it wasn't this year, and it was just a weekend. Like, I think Friday to Monday or something
Mhm.
like that. But again, at that point, we all really needed it. Everyone that
Very clear.
and the highlight for me was we went to the beach on the
Love
last
it.
or the day before the last time. We just sat in front of the water, throwing pebbles, talking about our whole streams, talking about even just how grateful we are to like one of us was saying, one of our dream was to be able to travel with our friends. And
Shit.
even though me, I didn't
That
ask
is
that,
very
I was like,
yeah.
Yeah, actually, like it gives you a chance to look back and really reflect and be grateful to, God for bringing you so far.
Yeah.
And then it falls you that I need to do more because
Yeah.
I want to go to, if you want to go to Asia, for example, you're going to be spending a
Money.
lot of money. Just the plane tickets are expensive. So, you need to step up your hustle. You need to do better, show up. And it's just like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So it even allows you to dream beyond.
Yeah. Even aside the dream, like even that reflection of seeing what Allah has created, like
Hmm.
the tweet bands thing you've talked about.
It sounds
Honestly,
funny,
if,
but
yeah,
it's not.
it sounds
Yeah.
funny, but if all your life you've been in Ablegba and that's
Mhm.
like the
No shade to
yeah. No,
Abuja
no,
Ogba.
I mean my house is literally Ablegba. That's why that my parents' house are
And
closer.
I'm still a Surulere babe, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So, but when you see that reality of what you probably wake up seeing is maybe keke peps, downfall buses,
Mhm.
and then you find yourself in a different climb where you're able to see like scenery, you're able to see like even all of the Quran text and everything or all the books you read, like
Mhm.
you begin to contextualize how big and how
Yeah, seeing
magnificent
some of those
Allah's
things
creations
makes
are.
you just, you want to make Doha like, wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Mela makes it like if you get the opportunity, I know,
hmm,
we have Nigerian audiences,
yeah.
everyone has different priorities. If there's room for these things, do them
Yeah.
because yeah,
I
you
mean,
don't.
so to bringing it back home to Nigeria. So, like I said, I didn't really do much Nigerian travel when I was
Mhm,
there.
mhm,
But I remember when we went back home for our Lima and we did a road trip to Abeokuta because one of our friends, dad was in Abeokuta, so we went to greet him. And I just like had to. We just had to like decide for ourselves that wait, we've never actually been to Lumoro.
yes, we move.
Like, and this is actually a like supposed to be a hotspot for
Mhm.
tourism in the country. Like, why not? Like, let's go see Olumorok. And I remember going there, climbing the mountain. I have a story of that Olumorok because I remember I could have gone in primary school, but I wasn't able to go at the time. I can't remember, maybe no money or something. But I remember like I didn't go on that excursion when my friends went on that excursion. But I remember when we climbed on that rock that day and
Yeah,
we were at like the apex and like seeing the whole landscape.
different feeling.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, okay,
I went as
okay,
an adult.
alhamdulillah,
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to travel out of the country. I know there's
Mhm.
like security concerns in Nigeria, but you could
There's
literally
still like
yeah, like
leave where you are, just explore a bit more.
explore a
Yeah.
bit more. You could be going to just and exploring a bit more with the intention of you want to actively see Allah's creations, like you want to see what
And
Allah, yeah, yeah,
interact.
exactly. Like you want to see the beauty, like the rocks. Like it was just interesting to see how the rocks were placed, and like you start to wonder, this thing has been like this for years. Like
Yeah. Who made it?
yeah, who made it? And
You
then when you
remember?
start to also reflect on like Quran surahs like Surah Zala, like when Allah says, when the heads would become flattened, and you're like, okay, everything will
Have
become
an appreciation that
yeah, you're like,
all
okay,
of this.
what's going like
Yeah.
how is that going to be? And then you start contextualizing, you start reflecting, you're like, okay, be like say, I have to do better, I have to strive to
Yeah.
do better.
Yeah. Yeah. So not just better in terms of like acquiring
Yeah.
worldly,
Exactly. Preparing for
but
your year after.
better in your hereafter, better
Mhm.
in, interacting with the deen, So yeah. I need to find those tweets. There was one I saw recently about how maybe someone was talking about, how Copy and her sister or something, they want gelato, they go to Italy.
Oh.
And so they too, they went to Ibadan just to eat.
Create
And
your own sweet amala. Yeah, that's an highlight for you.
take the train, bro.
Create, create
Like, yeah, so
locally.
that was so funny. And it's amazing how, even though it's very difficult right now
Mhm.
in Nigeria, like
Yeah.
the masses are really feeling all of the
Yeah.
economic policies and how the government is putting in place. Um, you know, people still make do, they come up with ways to
Yeah.
just make themselves happy. So at every level in your life, like look for opportunities to not just be tunneled in, but to step out and appreciate like the creation.
Yeah.
And traveling or exploring places is actually one of those ways you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you for all your travels that you've
Mhm.
done, like for say the non-Muslim countries probably you've been to, or even the Muslim countries, like at the thought of when you want to decide to go visit a place, like what are like the starting thoughts you have? Do you overly fixate over, oof, what, where would I get food to eat, what would I eat, or you're just like, okay, when we get there we figure
So
it
right now, yeah, I think it's just a reality that we have to like typically like in Nigeria when I was there, I never had to worry about
I have a
eating.
good story on
Yeah,
that.
I never had to worry for the mosquitoes, and I don't think I even used to eat out that much,
Mhm.
right? So that's one thing. When I moved here, Alhamdulillah for the UK, like
I think
Allah,
yeah,
listen, like our Asian brothers and sisters,
they are
grandpa
doing
have
great.
done a lot of work. Most of the meat stores, they are like halal.
Yeah.
So in terms of the food, even restaurants, like you find really nice options. Like there's a place near, was it Ilford that there are multiple spots there that I used to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's just amazing. Now, when it comes to traveling, like my primary idea going is, oh, okay, I want to explore this place. Like you said, appreciate the creation of Allah,
Mhm.
be inspired as well, when you see take these things in, like if you synthesize something.
Yeah.
And so like needing to find the type of food I can eat, to be honest, is probably the lowest in my mind because I can always get seafood. I
Yeah.
can always eat rice. Like one thing I was thinking of recently is maybe to make it easy because for me, when I stay in a place where maybe they are not spiced too much and like there's no pepper,
You think you're
I
perfect.
start to feel sick. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I can survive it for like maybe 2 weeks or one
Wow.
week.
Yeah.
One time I'm like, I'm a Yoruba girl.
You need
It's
your
not how
pepper.
do I like pepper is not a meat. And so I think what I want to start doing is maybe I can take some ramen noodles like that I know I like. I can take maybe yaji, which is like a
Right. Yeah.
pepper thing that people use for suya,
Mhm.
and then I can take shito, which is like a shrimp fried
Yeah.
sauce. Like so, just sprinkle it on stuff. So, but ultimately, it's not the foremost on my mind on what would I now? Oh, I'm going to it because that takes away the
The
joy
fun
and
and
the
what
point
you
that
Mhm.
exactly I don't like to let those kind of things drag down my enjoyment because they
Yeah.
can if you
Yeah.
fix it in those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my view when it comes to like the food stuff.
Yeah, I think same for me. The starting point is usually, oh, I probably have seen this place. I would love to visit. Like there are things that interest me about this place where I want to go for. Then the secondary bit would be, okay, how would I move around? Maybe just sorting a bit of logistics. And in
Mm-hmm.
some cases, if probably I know food would probably be. I think my palate has even grown because me of before.
Which is good.
Yeah,
Yes, they can
yeah,
enjoy all
I
types
think
of
I'm a little bit open to, and again, you can always get vegetarian options, right? Like,
I
but
will not comment on
yeah,
that.
I know. Even though I like my meat, but
Yeah.
yeah. So the backstory I said I had was when I think when I moved to Dubai, I didn't really have that halal or no halal.
You were like, yeah, I'm at home.
But when I moved to UK, then I had to like, especially all those team hangout, I had to like be very super conscious of like, what is this? Like, what is
Mm.
it? Like, if you don't know, okay, I'm not just going to eat it. And I became more friends with the vegetarian folks because I know, okay, at least this is a safer option. So most times when they ask for meal preferences, I just stick vegetarian. Like, I
You
don't
know
want
what? Like it's again, it, these things just show us why we need to be in some of those spaces. So
exactly.
even though the company I work for now is a small company,
Hmm.
we have Muslims in in the
Hmm.
company, and so like if I say, "Oh Allah," like it's nothing new. In fact,
They know what
yeah,
it
there
is.
are sometimes that the company like basically feeds us, and it's like, okay, this for Allah, this so it's like nothing new. So even in the UK, I find that mostly in even big companies, like if there's some team level event, maybe they've not had Muslims before, you might be the first person to say halal, they'll
Hmm.
sort it out. But for the most part, like
They
people
know.
have a sense of what it is. It's not like, oh, What is that? What is
Avoid
that?
them
Yeah,
all.
so
Yeah.
honestly, like, can't overemphasize need to like not put ourselves in boxes when it comes to just interacting with our society. I mean, there are some things we shouldn't do,
Mm-hmm.
but halal, as long as it's halal and it's you doing your job, it's you like fostering that connection,
Mm-hmm.
let's go for it. Anyway,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. How about like prayer times or places to
Ooh,
stay
so
and
I'm
travel?
always saying anytime we travel that, Islam is such a, what's the word? It's a religion of ease.
Yeah,
And
and mercy. Yeah, like
eh,
everything Allah has legislated or
yeah,
asked us to do. Yeah.
yeah. So 5 daily salah, right? It's a point, a touch point, or that's the way I say it. It's a point for you to come back to God, touch base with God, shed all this burden. So, like, it's people should first of all not see the salah as a burden of I need to get this chore done. Shift your mindset. If your mindset is, oh, I need to,
Prayer. I need to.
that's first of all. So when you view salah as a connection time between your Lord, now juxtapose that with traveling, sometimes being on air, sometimes maybe just landing, try to find your way, or doing a lot of like tour thing where you're on the road. So it's hard, right, to meet up with all five salahs. And so in Islam, there's something called qasr. I mean,
Yeah.
qasr.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing it because
Yeah.
whereby you can shorten the longer prayers. So for Dhuhr, it goes from 4 to 2. For Asr, it goes from 4 to 2. You can't shorten Maghrib, it's 3. For
Them.
Isha, you can shorten. And in some cases, you can combine those prayers, especially if you're going to be on the move.
Yeah.
So that means that if you are in, I don't know, some nice spot in Spain, of course you sleep, you wake up, so your subh is done.
Yeah.
Maybe before you start your tourism worker, you do your costry for Zur and Asr, then you do your waka. Or you go on the road, but you carry your
Yeah.
mat,
Pretty much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then you do it on the, like, find a nice spot, like,
Mm-hmm.
there was a day we went to Hastings and one of us actually took a prayer mat, and I think we were going up like an incline, like a specific reservatory area. By the way, Hastings is in the UK, it's no
You
fun.
travel. You went
Yeah.
outside of
And
yourself.
so it's like, oh, she's going to pray. And that's how, oh, the rest of us sat because there was just like very small. It wasn't a very big space.
Yeah.
Prayed, we sat down.
Then
Another
you
person did.
want.
And it was just amazing because by the time we got home, like,
Yes,
yeah,
lights done. Yeah.
so if you go out with the mindset or you travel with the mindset of, yes, I'm traveling, because you are still trying to seek Allah's pressure, because it's a time for you to connect with
Mm-hmm.
God, you are not going to throw that into like, okay, because I'm in America now, I won't pray.
Yeah.
Allah not make us those type of people. And so it's like you still need to do this, but Allah is giving you the grace to shorten it. Please take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
Use it to even, make some real nice du'as, like, wow, I just saw this amazing thing. Make some du'as, and it's like it just becomes easy when you go with that mindset of your prayer mat is packed. You
Yeah.
have like maybe a water bottle or thing where you have water where you can make
Yeah.
wudu.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you don't even have water, there's tayammum as well. Like, it's an option, but you most likely have water. So
Yeah.
for me, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Lean into the ease that Allah has granted us. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to your point on during that travel process, yeah, reflecting, so your solar should not be like a
it should
burden.
even be richer because
Yeah, yeah.
somebody is holding your shirt at work.
Exactly, exactly. So you should be able to. So maybe like packing tips, packing essential tips. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's like
As a
everything.
Muslim, why are you traveling without your prayer mats? I
And these days, like things are easy these days. You have pocket size prayer mats. It's not like you
yeah.
have to take the big mat. You have pocket
Mhm.
size. You have even collapsible like bottles where you can collapse and it doesn't take much space
Yeah.
in your
Mhm.
traveling box. So yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on the topic of like being visible Muslim, I am sure you have stories on like
I mean,
challenges.
I've not gone to that many places for
No,
sure.
like challenges of being a visible Muslim when you're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of so
Do you
probably
have a
airport,
story?
I do. I
Okay,
definitely
you have
do.
one. Mm-hmm.
Airport security, airport
Ooh.
checks, extra checks, like them touching your. Oh my god. Okay, so my story. Well, maybe not necessarily like extreme. I'm sure some other folks would have had it extreme, but I'm just like, is it because I'm wearing the hijab that's why you're treating me like this and all of that?
Mm-hmm.
When we went to Tbilisi, the journey, the one I mentioned that we traveled with, that I traveled with my friends. When we
Yeah.
got to the airport, I think there's a mix of Muslim plus Nigerian passports that we have played out there.
I
So
need to divest from that
yeah,
passport.
you're not loyal.
Ah,
Well, I remember when we got to the airport security check, like every other person, their checks were going smoothly. Like it was even fast, and we were even saying amongst ourselves that, oh wow, this airport checks is actually very fast because
jokes on you, bro.
yeah, we departed from the plane, like everybody was just check stamp, and it got to us, and the guy didn't actually even look up to see us first. Like immediately we brought our passport out and he said it was green passport and all of that. We're just like, okay, just move to the side. My colleague will come meet you. Blah blah blah.
I cannot undo
I'm
this.
like, okay. Then the colleague came and the colleague took our passport, went into another room. I think we stayed like for 15 minutes. Again, like I said,
Wasn't too long.
some part had it extreme. So stayed there for like 15 minutes. Then the guy came and he said, oh, what are you here for? Yeah, we're here for tourism. We showed him our airport,
Mm-hmm.
our hotel itinerary and all of that. And he's like, okay, fine. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, so why did you delay us? Why did you stop us? But that went by. Then I remember on that journey, again, I knew that was a predominantly Catholic
Country.
country.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember on that journey, I was subconsciously looking out to see if I would see another hijabi on the street. And I
Mm.
remember seeing one hijabi throughout that trip. And when I saw her, my face lit up like,
You're like,
ooh,
I feel
like,
you.
like I see you. So then fast forward to, because I do Europe city trips because of my job. Like I
What?
have Europe.
Yeah.
So every time, so most times I get to go to all these European cities, and subconsciously, when I'm in the airplane, like about to leave London, I subconsciously look around to see, okay, do we
Who
have,
goes there? Who
yeah,
goes
like,
there?
and most times, I'm not exaggerating, like most times, is that I'm always like the only hijabi
Mm-hmm.
or the only black person on that airplane, and I'll be like, okay, okay, like, and subconsciously I find myself maybe trying not to stand up too much or not to move too much because yeah, like people like, okay, yeah,
Like,
you.
hey, who is this
Yeah.
one? Mm-hmm.
And fast forward to airport checks, anytime I go, I'm traveling, I'm always careful not to maybe wear pins in my hijab that could trigger the alarm, this thing. But even at that, by the time I go through, and even if I went through successfully and the alarm or whatever did not trigger, you still find them telling me to step aside. And then the lady comes with whatever, and she goes patting my head and patting my body and everything. And I'm like, okay,
So you've not eaten
yeah,
something
like
good.
exactly. So I feel there's that bit, but again, like I said, it's not like I don't think I've had any extreme
A
case.
terrible
Yeah,
experience.
I've seen people online talk about like them,
Even more
yeah, like
intense.
very extreme. So maybe that's
Yeah.
the bit
So
of.
I'm
Mhm.
of two minds when it comes to, well, not of two minds. Obviously, it would be nice to be treated like everyone else. We
Mhm.
are not everyone else though. So I always say it's that, or someone always says this, I can't remember who, that everything you do has like advantages and not disadvantages,
Mhm.
consequences. Or so if you've chosen to present as this, visible Muslim woman, to seek Allah's pleasure, to purely based on Allah's like words, like nobody forced you to
Yeah.
in this case. It's like, what are the good things that come with that? Obviously, you're seeking the pleasure of your Lord. Bam. Anything else extra?
Extra.
But in the world we live in, there's a certain like connotation that comes with, you are Muslim. Hey, you are from Africa. Hey,
Ah.
hey, you are now even.
Nigeria.
a Muslim that you are representing as that,
Yeah.
not just our brothers, by the way. Um, it comes with extra scrutiny in certain spaces, like when you are going, traveling. So I've been to the US before, and I remember I was like selected for a random search. That was my first time in the US, and I didn't really know what was going on, but I knew that I'd not do anything.
Probably.
I have no,
Anything
as
or
far as
anything.
I knew, I've heard horror stories of people also being picked for these things because
Mhm.
maybe some uncle of some uncle in some places on some list, like
Mm.
if your family to like
Yeah.
a person of interest, they're going to pull you.
Yeah.
If you're from some countries, I think sanctioned countries,
Went
you're
to.
going to be pulled aside. So for me, when I go through these things, what I have in mind is like, for lack of a better word, I'm not involved in what I should be. No, I shouldn't be involved in. Let them do their checks
Mhm.
because all of these things have historical. There are things that have happened that have led to this scrutiny, like being put in place, right? Not justifying it, not saying anything. It's just a part. It's just yet another part of like presenting this way that I've
Yeah.
chosen to present. But obviously, it would be nice not to have that extra level of scrutiny. But if that's what makes everything safe and trusting system, fine. And on the flip side, I'm also grateful that some of those checks are happening because you also like when I enter a plane, there's a part of me that's like, we're in God's hands now. I mean, we're always in
God,
the hands of the
yeah.
creator, but it's also like you're up there, you don't know anything that happen. So it's like any check they can do to certify that everybody on this plane has good intentions, quote
Yeah.
unquote. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's sad that some people are seen as more problematic than not
That
being.
level.
It's just the world we live in, and may Allah make things easy and make things eventually evolve to a place where we wouldn't need to do those things on like a special interest level, more like okay, just general
Mhm.
checks for
Yeah.
everyone.
Have you
Yeah.
experienced airplane turbulence before?
I don't think
Oh, I
well,
have.
it's the ones I've experienced haven't been like crazy where it's like you
No,
have
the one where you be like, yeah, love, please,
God I beg.
please just let me land, like, just let me land. Oh my god, I remember. I think it was to Lux, and Lux to London is usually like an hour 45 minute trip, but London
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, yeah. So, but London weather was just so like cloudy and whatever, whatever. I mean, the pilot already told us before we took off, oh,
Get
London
ready.
weather is going to be, yeah, we'll probably experience some turbulence and all of that.
It be
And,
like film.
and then we started, it will go down. And there's a feeling in your stomach when the plane
Come
goes
and get
down.
dropped really quickly.
And you're like, oh my god, yeah, love, please.
God I beg.
Please,
God,
like,
if you let me land,
just
yeah.
let me know. But then again, you will still go again
You will
because
still go, you forget. Honestly.
oh, yeah, but yeah, I've had cases. I think I've had like two
hmm
ish.
Yeah,
So
turbulence can be pretty bad. And
yeah.
again, like may Allah just,
Mhm.
watch over us. Like so
Yeah.
people that work in the airports, people that maintain all these planes, I'm like, let them not sleep off at it because again, a lot of the things that happen are maybe slip ups in certain senses where like maybe something should have been closed, something should have been maintained. There was
Mhm.
even a time where like Boeing was just in the news for
And when you're about to take that
I'm
fare,
like
are
it's
you?
not going. But at the end of the day, but Allah is just the one
Yeah,
that
I mean,
does everything. Allah just protect us.
I
And
mean
so even as Muslims, there are du'as you make when you go
about
to a
hmm
journey.
yeah.
Guys, don't joke with that. Don't joke with your car. Even to myself, like because yeah, sometimes you'll be sleeping. Instead of you to pray, may
Okay.
Allah make it easy for us.
Um,
But yeah, honestly, those turbulence is not even the small one that I've experienced. Is like, what am I? Why am I here?
yeah.
Yeah,
So solo trip or group trip, which do you prefer?
group,
I've,
group.
I've never been on a solo trip. I have.
Nope.
I haven't been
Oh,
on.
I have unwillingly though. Oh, they paid for it, like for the company thing, and
No, 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 no. So company will still turn out to be group because you'd still
I don't think so. But yeah,
yeah. So if it's that, like all of my
you have
Yes, yes.
plans. Yeah, even
But solo trip in the sense that you left by yourself to explore a new country by yourself or a new place by yourself. No, I don't think I've done that. I don't think I would want to do that. It's not.
I know there's some people that always like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like a solo
take
trip.
yourself to the I think it's sad. I think
Yeah,
you should really be with
with
someone, and it
people.
just
Yeah,
can be your husband, your partner. It
your
might be your
friends.
friend,
Yeah,
even one friend. It just
yeah.
elevates the experience. Because who's gonna snap my fire pin?
Exactly,
Who
exactly.
is going to tell me, okay, let's try this? You know,
Friday.
the thing about like going with group of people is like some people are very different. Like there are some people that like they're up, they are ready, they are
Mhm.
the planner. So me, I'm not interested in planning things. So if
Just
I
tell me
know
what we are
if I'm
doing.
traveling with someone and they are the other type of person where they're like, okay, 8 o'clock, we're up, we're there, we'll come back. We'll do this. It's like it's amazing. You
Yeah.
just enjoy the experience so much more. Like so for me, like yeah, I don't want to solo travel. I'd rather like travel with, even if it's just one other person.
Yeah. Okay, so
How about you?
Anna,
No brainer.
definitely I
Yeah.
don't think I will.
Maybe we're missing out on the solo guys. Maybe they will convince us. Let us know if you are pro solo trip.
Yeah, let's know if you are.
Tell
Let's
us
know why
why.
you like
Yeah.
exactly. Convince
Let
me
the
to be why.
dissertation be why.
Tell me why, but no, I don't think I would want to do a solo trip. I like my at least with my husband or friends, then we go for it. So I mean, we already talked about how we can leverage it on travel. We can use it to deepen our connection with Allah. So when you travel, you experience the beauty of Allah's creation. Like you see what's obtainable in other cities. I think. Another highlight of the Umrah trip we had was when we did the Ziyarah and we were like going to different places.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, this is
Yeah,
when
this is where it is. Yeah, so like the Masjid Qiblatain, like that has the place where the prophet
by
was.
the way, let me keep something.
Uh huh.
As Muslims, like if you can afford to go on some of these small trips, you
Yeah, sure.
definitely can afford Umrah.
Yeah.
Don't delay the things. Like you should go on those trips. Trips is not only for vibes and
Yeah.
everything. You can go and try to connect on a deeper level
Mhm.
to your religion. It could even be a study thing. Some people take like 1 month off, go
Yeah.
learn the Quran, go learn some
Mhm.
specific niche thing. So use your trips to also seek the pleasure of Allah. In that sense.
Yeah. So
And if you can go do some other things, you can also afford Hajj. So yeah, just saying hashtag.
building on that.
Yeah, and it's good to go when you are young. I don't think I've told you people my Hajj story, but if you can afford it and you are young,
Just
go
go for
for
it
it.
every day. Yeah.
Physically, it's demanding, right? It's
Yeah.
an all-encompassing physical, spiritual thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, please,
Yeah. Let me
yeah,
keep.
that make it easy.
So so I think we would just like to like admonish you guys, yeah, listeners and also ourselves. We should. I think there's a Quranic verse or maybe an hadith. I will look for it that where Allah actually commanded us to go out to see His creation, like to visit places. So let's endeavor to, even if it is within our immediate environment for folks in
Go to
Nigeria
the parks.
or to the exactly go to the park. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I was listening to a lecture this morning, and this person was talking about how these days we actually are not exactly in the present because okay, so most times when you are leaving your house to go to the station, it's either you have your headphones on, you are listening to podcasts, you are listening to
You
something,
don't even interact with
like
maybe somebody
you don't notice probably
how beautiful.
a tree that just grew. There was a time my husband was doing this picture series of seasons. So there is a in his former apartment where he used to live when he first moved to London, there's a tree that how the tree was changing with the seasons. So
Hmm.
during summer, the tree was very lush with green and all of that. Then during winter, the old leaves are shed. And during autumn and fall, how basically the tree was changing. And that's because he consciously saw the tree or he took interest in the tree. But it's just an admiration to myself as well. Like most times I don't even know what is maybe there's a particular tree or a particular nice spot on the
Well,
I'm just like, oh, I'm going to the station. Off we go. I need to get to the station at this particular time. So it doesn't even have to be travel, like just being conscious and um looking at the marvels in our environment, looking at Allah's creation, expressing the beauty of Allah's creation, and
Mhm.
just reflecting on that for ourselves. So
Yeah.
maybe to wrap it up, travel, like I think we've mentioned, and I think I
Within your means, please don't
yeah,
take loan to
yeah.
travel.
So it's not just about the destination; it's about the
Mhm.
growth, it's about the perspectives, it's about the
Interacting with the local
what the
community.
memories you get from
Mhm.
it. Definitely embrace travel as a way to experience this diversity of Allah's creation. If you have any travel stories that you want to share with us, please do share with us
Mhm. It's
on
interesting because even the Morocco that we went to,
Mhm.
that we had a good time. I've
Yeah,
heard people had different experiences. So it
exactly.
can really differ. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So do share with us. Maybe one question to our listeners. We really appreciate if you can respond to us. What
How did he respond to you?
to through our comment section, and you can always write to us. Don't worry,
And
we'll
yeah,
be
we
serious.
just
We
yeah,
will be
form.
serious about the phone. We will be
Yeah.
serious.
We should post the
We will
form
be
thing.
serious
Yeah.
about.
Hmm.
So, but if you have one piece of advice to a Muslim woman that is planning her first big trip, like somebody that
Hmm.
has probably never traveled before, is planning to take a travel, maybe with friends, with partner, with family, or even a solo trip, what advice would you give to?
Don't go alone. Yeah.
Go with someone, yeah. So we are really looking forward to hear from you. And if I do you have
Hmm.
any last
No, I mean like uh the year is rapid. This is not the last episode of the year. I mean, let's keep the motivation for later
yeah.
because when the year is wrapping up like this, by the way, the what's the called? Gregorian, what?
Gregorian
Yeah,
calendar.
Gregorian English. Anyway, yeah, it's wrapping up. Give it that last push.
Quote.
Do
No,
what you need to
not
do.
to myself.
Not maybe we're also talking to others. Give it
Yeah.
that last push. Go all in. Reflect.
Hmm.
And then come back stronger. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about it inshallah in the next episode.
Inshallah, may Allah make it easy. So off we go enjoy and party with our friends.
Chill. We need to
Chill.
chill.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, assalamualaikum. Bye, guys.